So we are Peace Corps volunteers. We live in Malawi, and we are a cross-sector couple. So we came here together, and I am in the environment sector, and she is in the education sector. We have been here now for a year and a half.
What brought us here to Malawi actually goes back pretty far. I'll try to keep it short. I was in an anthropology class in high school, and I watched a documentary called Invisible Children that led me down the path of doing research to come to Malawi, or not Malawi, Africa. And then eventually I landed on joining the Peace Corps. So I was 17, and that was my mission. But life happened and circumstances out of my control. So I joined the military, and that allowed me to be able to afford my university education, which allowed me to become a teacher, which I've always wanted to be. I'm a history teacher. And then 2014, I met this guy.
Well, as we were dating, she said, at some point, I'm going to be going to Africa for 2 years to go to the Peace Corps. And I was working as a chef. And so I said, oh, that'll be great. We talked it over, and then we decided that we would join the Peace Corps together. The Peace Corps experience is to be engaged in the culture. It's not a sociological experiment where you're watching another culture from the outside. You're actively engaged. So you are sharing parts of yourself, and you're seeing where you fit into this culture as well.
Yeah.
So it's not only just letting this culture impact you, you're also making an impact on the people around you, and you're actively engaged in what people find culturally important.
And you might be the only person they ever meet that is from a different country outside of Africa. And so it's an opportunity to really do the cultural exchange, not to just immerse yourself in their culture, to also share ours. I think for both of us, because we talk about it a lot, the biggest and shocking surprise was the difference in culture when it comes to accountability. We've learned that in Malawian culture, it is not always appropriate to hold another person accountable, even if it's at their job. And coming from America, where our job is also part of our character.
Yeah, it almost defines Americans. It's like when you introduce yourself to an American, they say, "Hey, I'm Dave. I'm a chef." It's the second thing that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
It's your job.
And that's been something that even now we are struggling with, and we are trying to let that go.
Just recalibrating your approach to the way that you define yourself through your work or through your actions.
We can also appreciate the Malawian culture of how work isn't their life. Yes, it pays for them to be able to survive and to take care of their family, but especially the women, they introduce themselves as a Mai Mary, mother of this child. And so even though I don't know that child, it took me months to learn our landlord's actual name. It's Lapika. But she only called herself a Mai Mary, and or a Mai Charles, because her husband is Charles. And so that takes some adjusting, because I want to give everyone their own identity, but if that's how they value themselves and they see themselves, it can also be beautiful. While it may be a little overwhelming how slow-paced things are here, for us coming from America, where everything is encouraged to be fast-paced, there's a real beauty to how content they are doing the small, daily, mundane things. They can genuinely find joy in it, and it's really nice to see. And I think it's something that I would like to maybe achieve
For yourself?
for myself.
Yeah. It's really nice to wake up on a Tuesday morning. It might be at 4:30 a.m., but wake up on a Tuesday morning and then hearing Amai sweeping and singing church songs and just going about her day, but she's just happy doing the things, and there's not this rush to get this done in order so that I can get this goal and then this goal. Being content where you are, the things that you're doing, and just being at peace with yourself is is really nice.
So a meaningful experience for me, one that I probably have told like 10 times in the past month. So when I first started at Mpingu CDSS, I still teach Form 1, but there was a student, Yamakani, and every day he was in the library after school studying until nighttime. Sometimes I wouldn't leave until close to nighttime, and I would see him going to one of the open classrooms to continue studying. I'm like, this kid is so hardworking. I got to know him. He kind of became one of our children, maybe even one of our favorite children, because he's genuinely the goodest of boys. I had been working really hard because his family, while they are very hardworking, they do struggle to pay his fees and to care for him. Right now, he is staying in free boarding. He's lucky enough to have found some free boarding. But I wanted to find him a bursary, a scholarship for school, so he can finish. And this year, I not only found him a bursary, I found him one of the best bursaries in the country. And his mother came to visit the school and to say hello. We had met before, but now, because her son's on bursary, she wanted to really thank me. And she said, do you want a chicken? And I said, no, 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 I don't want to take one of your chickens. And she was like, I'm giving you a chicken. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I want to say maybe a month and a half ago, Yamakani comes to the gate with the most beautiful chicken I have ever seen in my life. It has black, it has brown gold feathers underneath. Its eyes are hazel with a little green fleck in it. And I'm just like, I can't eat this chicken. But in Malawi, if you don't eat the chicken, it's rude because it was a gift to be eaten. But I just can't. So I named it after Yamakani's mother. So its name is Stella, and it is living with our landlord's chickens. And maybe it will make some eggs. Because a chicken here, giving a chicken when you are already struggling is a very, very kind gesture. And so it's meaningful.
A lot of people project on what Peace Corps service either should be or what it actually is or what they see from the outside, like what a Peace Corps volunteer should do, because you know that you're here to make actual cultural connections. Our service can also be about like experiencing things as a couple or experiencing things as Americans in another country or just experiencing the world like with friendships. So it's become more about the way that you're finding your meaning for yourself. Last year in Form 4 senior year of secondary school, there was a boy who was part of the group of boys that we always help to counsel them, and 3 of them were in Form 4, and one was head boy, and then the other one also did well in school, but there was one that really struggled. A lot of the teachers, they would say like, I don't know that that one's going anywhere." And they weren't even sure that he would pass his, MSCE, his graduation certificate, test, and so they weren't sure, and, you know, Kelliesha spent a ton of time with all of them and was counseling, and just we could tell throughout the year, he became more serious about school, he started thinking more about his future and, like
His English progressed a lot, probably the
yeah.
most out of everyone. He was the least experienced, and he became very, very good.
But he took his test, so he graduated, he was out of Form 4, but still not sure of his results. And then, my counterpart in a local village is also a pastor, and he had a connection to a college in town and a university in town, and he, actually found Steve, the student, a spot in university, and that was really exciting because only 3% of Malawian graduates even have access to go to college. So this student that people weren't sure about,
Who's very poor.
who
His
who
family struggles a lot.
did not have the resources, was able to access college, and then the only thing we had to worry about was if he passed his test. Eventually, the results came out, and he had passed his test, and he actually did really well.
Yeah.
And so now, as we speak, he's at university, and he's been doing great. I have now become, like, more resilient to change where if plans change, if my job changes, like you get used to asking these existential questions of what am I doing here? What is the purpose of my work? What is the purpose of like down to the finer details of like how does this better serve a goal that I'm making? How does this better serve my physical or mental health? Like how in which way does this action serve something that I'm trying to do? And is it beneficial or is it detrimental to that goal? You have time to figure out which parts of your personality you want to keep and which ones you want to change and which ones you want to improve on.
We're in our mid-30s, and so I think that is still happening for us, even though we've had a lot of character building moments in our life and our relationship. But the fact that it's happened here, even though we came prepared, it's nice, scary sometimes, but nice to realize that you like certain parts of yourself that you used to hate. You realize the value in them. That's also a benefit.
Scary to realize that you have to continuously keep growing and learning throughout your whole life, and then there's not a point that you just reach and you're like, I got it.
Yeah.